Hello, it's Dominique. Today I'm making a tutorial on a little composition book that we're going to alter. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, and most of them, the paper is just cut around the shape that we need. But what we're going to do here is we're going to wrap around the paper. I gave a class last month on this, and a couple people told me that they couldn't make it to the class, but they wish they could have done it, so they asked if there was any tutorial, so I decided to make one for these people, and then if it can serve anybody else, that's a good thing too. We're going to use the Prima Marketing papers called Something Blue. I really like those papers. They have little cards which are really nice. They have nice papers for every taste. They have 3 sheets of each. Another card selection. These here, this one here, more, and this one too. No, there's no room for you today, Bianca. Please go back to your chair. Thank you. This one is my favorite, so I'm going to use that one for the cover. And this pinky one, and again here. But we're not using very much because we're just doing the composition book. So, okay, you can stay there. Yeah. So what we're going to use, I've already cut my papers that I needed, so it doesn't take too long. This is going to be a little plate that we're going to make for the cover. So we're going to keep that, might be a little bit too big, maybe I'm just going to cut a little bit here. We're going to use the envelope to make a little file that is going to be on the inside of the cover. And then I've cut some papers here. I wanted to use this paper here, but all the design is really close to the corner, and when I want to wrap around, then I would have lost quite a bit of it, especially the wheels of the bike, which I don't want to lose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different paper for covering and wrapping around, and this will be glued on top of it. So that's what we're going to do. And I've got already here some papers, and this is going to be on the file. The file will be half of this size here. And I missed this little piece, so I decided to make kind of a little pocket here. And that's a good thing that you can do when you don't have exactly the amount of paper that you need, like just little pieces missing. So then you can do something and then you can still use it. So I do that quite often. So first of all, we're going to use the piece of fabric. Here I have a piece of fabric. This fabric was fraying a little bit, so what I did is I applied some fray check. So I use fray check a lot, so it doesn't fray. Usually when I use the fabric that is the suede-like on my spines, it doesn't fray, so I really like to use it. But here I wanted to use this one because it was lighter colored and it really matched the papers, so I decided to put the fray check. This I use all the time, especially when I do cross stitching. So we're going to do that. So we're going to start with that. Here I'm using 3-in-1 glue, because it can glue paper on paper, paper on fabric, or lace or ribbon, whatever, and also even fabric or lace or ribbon on the same, which the fabric tack doesn't do, which I like. This is my new glue for the fabric. I've discovered that. I bought that one by mistake. I wanted to buy the fabric tack, and then I realized that it was gluing the fabric as well, which is good. But here I'm just gluing on this tiny kind of textured paper that is the spine. So I'm going to leave that to dry. And here I'm going to use a little piece of trim here that I bought at Hobby Lobby. I really like it. It's kind of a trim that they have printed kind of letters and words and stamps. I really like those kind of trims. So first of all, I have to put my paper around, and then once I have wrapped my paper, then I can glue that to kind of hide the meaning of the two. So the paper I'm using for this one is going to be this one. So the way I did it is I cut a piece of paper that's about 1/2 inch, can be more, doesn't matter, you're going to remove some anyways, at least 1/2 inch around here. Larger than the paper. So what you do is you just grab your tacky glue and you just glue it on. So you have to make sure that you have the front, so the lines here are not present. So this is the front cover. So just a little bit, don't need too much. And this it has letters, so you make sure you put it on the right upwards like this. And now what you do is, okay, we have a lot here, so we're going to cut some of it. So what I do is for the corners that we're going to wrap around. So this is the piece that is round. So I'm going to go cut a little here to where the straight line ends, where the circle or the curve starts. Same on this side. And then I'm going to cut two more. Could do one, but I'm going to do two. I do the same here, here, and here, and two. So I don't know if you can see. So I've cut all these. Okay. Now this is a little bit too much, so I'm going to remove some of it. And that's it. So what we do is we just fold around to make sure that it's all the way in, that you don't have anything hanging. And then you have, I'm going to glue these three first. Okay, so this one here, not too much glue, just so that it sticks there, because it's going to be covered anyways, but you have to have some kind of, make sure that it's all the way in here, it's not hanging. I'm going to use my ruler for doing this. I hope I have enough time on my, we'll do 2 videos if we need to. There, so you have this. Now those 3 pieces, you have to follow the curve. So this one is going to be going this way, this one on top, and this one on top. So we kind of have 3. So if we have too much, so we can remove, make them straight line, so that we don't have too much adding up and making too thick a corner. So I'm just cutting to make sure that they are just straight, like this and like this. So you see, that's how it begins. It becomes. Okay, so let's put 1 drop on each. I'll do the same here. Have to make sure you follow the curve. This one here I need to get rid of. So here we have the 2 curves. Okay. And we have to do the same for the backing. So I decided that this would be the backing, and this one's going to be wrapped around. So I mean it's going to be the sheet that's going to do the backing and wrapping around too. So this is the side it should go. So here again, I've cut like half an inch on each side. So I'm going to do the same thing. Try to do that quicker. I think it makes a better result when you wrap around, instead of just cutting around and just finishing the edges with distress ink. I think it makes a better product. So I'll be working on that, and if my camera goes off, then I will continue on another video. Here I just removed some of it because I think it's going to be a lot of paper adding up. And especially this paper collection has really thick cardstock, so I think it's better to remove some. This has to go all the way in. It's not going all the way in. So this is it. Now the corners. Oh, sorry, wrong glue. Just a little bit of glue like this. Plenty. Don't need that much. I made 4. That's a lot. I cut 3 lines. I needed just the 2 lines. It's going to be thicker, but that's okay. So I think that 3 is plenty. You don't need to cut 4. If you would have had a larger curve, then you need to go more, so that it really goes around, wraps around, and then you still get that curve result. And what I do at the end after that, I just use my ruler and kind of even the edges, because there are kind of little tips where the fold is, or where the cut was, and you need kind of to squish those so that it makes it rounder. So that's going to be this. Now I'm going to, I've already cut my piece of cardstock that's going to go on top here. So I need to do that too before I put my lace or trim or whatever, because it has to cover the joint of the paper and the fabric. So that's the whole purpose of putting a trim, so we have to do that too. So I'm doing that real quick. So I'm using stress ink. Here I have walnut stain. I really like that one. I have to buy more of the vintage photo. I have a pad that I have been using for 3 years. I need to get another one. Doesn't work anymore. It's not much to. It doesn't come on my little tool here. Even though I add ink, I add water. I think that the kind of the pad is worn off. Okay, so now we're done. We've done this. Now we're going to put our braids. So here I have those two pieces here. So I'm using this one here. On the right side. So it has to cover the paper and the fabric. So we're going to do that here. Do the same here. And then I thought that that wouldn't be enough, so I decided to add another one on top of that, which is over there. I just ironed them so that it would be nice and flat. So this one goes here, right on this side right here. This is the back. This one here, really close to the one, because we don't want to hide too much of the bicycle, because that's the nice part about this paper, so I don't want to hide too much. So I can go on top of the fabric or the trim there, and then what you do, you just glue that inside. And then when you cover the inside, we're going to cover all the trims there. Same on this side, and then go back to make sure it's glued on right. Takes a little bit of time for it to glue and stay there. And then you make sure that it doesn't glue your pages on. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm gonna cut the piece that I need for the inside. So here I'm gonna go not all the way in, because then if it goes too much in the curve there, it'll be hard to fold. So I'm gonna leave some space, so just to the end of where, before it curves there. So I'm going to do this and then leave just a little bit there. So this is gonna be right here and right here. Here I'm going to use this punch here to punch the two corners, just the outside corners. And then I'm going to distress with the ink. But first I have to put the ties. You have to remember putting the ties before you put the inside. Because I like to have little ties. So the ties are right here. So one here. Pretty much in the center. This is going to be the one, and then I'm going to glue that on. Trying to hurry here because my camera doesn't have much time. A little chip on my camera doesn't have much time. So I'm putting some, because I have some fabric here, so I'm putting the glue that will go on the fabric. So you see, that's what it does here. Pretty nice. Now this part here. So here we're gonna do the file. So first of all, we glue the inside like this. Then we cut a little piece, tiny strip, just to have an opening. Oh no, sorry, we cut in half. This one here has to be cut in half because there is not much. 3 and a half. Because it's so small. There's not much room to put a big one. So I'm going to cut this one in half. And if I have not cut it in half, exactly in half, it doesn't matter. But this is okay here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my big punch for the hole. So this here needs, so here I'm going to trace the center, find the center, and cut a little hole here. This is getting tired. This little punch is getting tired. And these envelopes are so thick that it doesn't really want to do it. There, we got it. And we're going to do the same. We're putting the two folds of the envelope on the same side. So I'm going to do the same here. 4, 2. So what I can do is I can just put them like this and trace where my circle is to make sure that they are aligned. This is hard. This is getting tired. This thing is like 3 years old. Okay, just distress a little bit here, especially on the top here. If you want to. I'm going to be as fast as I can. Now, we want to have the flat, I mean where there are no folds. This is going to be on that side because when we open it, we want to see that there are no folds. So you have to glue them one on top of the other, and the way to do it, you just go like 1/2 inch away from the side. You make sure you have some on the curve here, and just a little bit in the center, just so that it adheres. So this is good. So maybe I need to glue this little part right here. So this is it. So now we have a little file like this, and when we glue it on here we need to have some paper in the back. So I'm going to use a little sheet here, something, because the file doesn't cover all of it, so I'm going to use one of these sheets. Could be whatever. So I'm going to do the same that I did on the other side, and so here on the side like this, and this is how high it goes. Use the punch on the right side, so that would be on this side for the corners. Stressing. We're almost done. Just the file to finish. I'm going to put some of this glue here on the fabric. I call it fabric, but it's trim or braid or whatever. And this goes right here. And then my file is going to go on top of that. Trim it a little. There we go. So this is going to go. So we do the same to the place that we're going to adhere. This is the flat one, so that when we open it and look at it, we can see that there are no, I call that seams. So we do the same. 1/2 inch from the side. This. Make sure you have some around the curve, the punch. And I wouldn't put it too far down because then you can't fold this. So just to the edge, I think I would do that. We haven't put the tie here so it's not too late to put the tie. I thought I had put it on both sides. It seems that it's not the case, so we're going to do that right now. So I'm just going to push that in there and just press on it. Make sure there are the same line right there. There, good. So that's our file. It's already there. And of course we have to cover this part, so I have decided that I would use this part here. So I'm going to cut whatever I need. So it's all the way here, and this one all the way here. So cut that. And distress that. Distress ink. That the whole thing here, but I have to do my center here for a little punch, a little half circle right here. My glue is spilling all over the place. So I make it a little bit smaller than this one so that it covers the whole thing, to make sure that it's covering it. And now I need my eraser. Get rid of those pencil marks. Now I need to distress here in the little part here. Doing this. Here we have to do the whole thing because we have to cover all of this. It's not like the part that we've glued onto the book. So we're just gluing that right here. And I'm going to use this with the flowers to finish the corner that needs to be hidden. So just the same length. As you can see, it takes really no time at all to make this. And then we do like this. So those are fun, they're cute. You can do journaling with this. You can do write a book, take notes, whatever you want to do with those. So I'm going to do a pocket. So I'm going to go on this side, and this side. So this is the pocket gluing. So it's going to be right here so that we don't see the part that is missing from the paper. So that's the way to use, so that I could use this one even though there was a corner missing. So that's one nice way to use up your paper scraps. And when I make a pocket, because it's really flat, I like to, before it glues, it adheres and it settles, I like to push this a little bit, especially if I have room to push it, so that it makes kind of a little curve. But in this case, because it's a little book and want it flat, I wouldn't go too much. But just so that it's easy to just slide a little piece of something in there. So here we have our book. So we have a little file here. And this is the front, and this is the back, and this is the back, and that's it. And what you can do also is you can just distress the edges if you want to. Here I will do that because I think that distressing makes a whole difference in the look of the project, because it looks as if the paper was made to be that size instead of cut. So there you have a little booklet. You have this little file, 2-envelope file of all the pages here, and you have this covered. You could add something there if you wanted. Now I was going to do this as a plate, but I think it would be too much. So what I will do, maybe put a couple of little twigs and a little flower, and I will of course do stickles all around the bicycle, except for the part that the flower is hiding. So all around here will be stickles. I would do stickles here too, maybe a couple of pearls. So I think this is too much, would be too much, so we're not doing that. I was going to do that cover with this and do the covering of the plate, and then I'd put that here and then put some string around, so like a couple of rows of strings. That would have been cute, but it's already busy enough, and also there's not much room here. We want the focal point to be on the bicycle, not on the plate. But if you have a piece of paper that is the design that is like more neutral, like you would have this, then I would go with the plate. And if you have a card that is like really light color, you have to have something in the back that will be contrasting, so more color. So I hope you liked it. This is the way I do my little composition books, because I really like to wrap around. As you can see, once you get it, it's really fast to make this, and people really like them. And I don't sell them very expensive, but they're so much fun to make. I don't mind. It's just for the fun of it. Hope you liked it. You can click on the thumbs up button if you liked it, and if you have any questions or any comments, you can write on in the comment box. I really like having comments or messages. And if you haven't subscribed to this this channel, you can do so right now, because I'm making more of the tutorials. As I think of something new, I will make a tutorial, so you can learn a lot from my videos. So we'll see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.